But, you know, people are just going to have to live through it. You're just going to have to live through it. Live through the nightmare. I don't want to live through a nightmare like that. I refuse to live through a nightmare like that. If it comes down to that, I'm going to go kicking and screaming. And we all need to. I mean, that's the time for the hard option, quite frankly. You know, everybody asks, when is the hard option? When is the hard? That's the time for the hard option. Before that time, I mean, you paint a target so broad on you and other people who support the Constitution, support the Bill of Rights, that the consequences just aren't worth it. And I mean, who are the targets of this, you know, hard system? Well, the targets have to be the soldiers that are trying to come down on you, in my opinion. We're going to go to Alan and others on the other side. 866-582-9933. Back after this. Oh, those wacky board ops out there. California collapsing. Washington and Wall Street seem to be treating California as if it were a sideshow in the financial circus of these turbulent times. It's not. Remember, we had this woman call into the show about a month and a half ago saying that in the last 6 to 12 months, social services and those who were applying for their benefits had quadrupled, and that people who never thought they were going in for food stamps, Medicaid, or other social services were getting on the welfare, and welfare is at an all-time high. Worst unemployment in 64 years. Worst concentration of 90-day past due mortgages in the United States in Southern California. Massive downgrading continuing. And this is just going to give the excuse of the federalists to come right in and bulldoze neighborhoods. No, let's not clothe the naked. Let's not feed the hungry. Let's not house the homeless. Let's bulldoze and get ready for mass FEMA camps, and that's just what they want. 866-582-9933. Alan in Indiana, you are on the line, sir.
Hey, how you doing, Jason? It's good to talk to you. I'm a big fan of what you guys do, man.
Thank you.
Hey, the reason I'm calling, I'm a college student at one of the big schools in Indiana, state-sponsored school. And one of the classes I'm taking right now is actually required for all the students. It's called Technology and International Development. And one of the chapters I'm reading in this book, it's just killing me right now. It's called Building a Low-Carbon Economy. And they give all of these facts, all of these scientific facts about how carbon emissions and greenhouse gases are causing global warming and what we have to do about it. And it's just amazing to me that all it is indoctrinating college students who seemingly can't think for themselves. And it just makes me sick. It's so hard to read through this stuff. And I actually
do you ever try to challenge your godlike teacher on the fact that there are like thousands of scientists out there that don't believe carbon dioxide is the cause of global warming? And, you know, right here's the article out of the Telegraph. There's a new book out there. Let's see. It's The Truth About Those Science Scare Stories by a couple of leading scholars, and it tells you right here the sun is behind global warming. CO2 levels have been much higher in past histories. The polar bears and penguins are not dying out. The Gulf Stream is not under threat. There is no evidence to suggest that the Arctic ice melting is pushing the Gulf Stream further south. That global warming might be good for us. Again, we might have better crops. Let's talk about that. I mean, most people really do think that polar bears, they see the polar bear jumping in the water, well, he must not be able to swim. He's jumping to his suicide. Oh, wait a minute, he can swim. So
he's really talking about the period a couple of thousand years ago where the climate was much warmer than it is now, and polar bears survived that just fine. You know,
it's very odd. I wonder what happened. Maybe they had a 2,000-year hibernation period or something we just don't know about. I mean, it's Johnny nonsense. When we were kids, and if you're in college now, you're probably a little bit younger than I was, but in the 80s, when global warming broke through the mainstream and all of a sudden we were talking about recycling and we were watching all these videos, it wasn't carbon dioxide that was the enemy. It was chlorofluorocarbons and the hairspray and those nasty, pesky bottles in the ozone layer. Now the ozone layer almost never gets mentioned because they discovered the holes in the ozone layer aren't what they thought they were. It was total and complete hype, so they had to blame another demon. And the demon they decided to blame was CO2 because everybody's responsible for it. Nobody wants to mention that CO2 is necessary for plants to breathe. They used to hype out, oh, the rainforest will be gone by 2012 if we don't stop. The rainforest is doing fine by my count. I think the rainforest is still there. I'm pretty sure there's trees all over the place. I know that I'm in Texas. I see trees everywhere. They haven't gone anywhere. Trees haven't gone by the wayside, folks. That hype is over with. So they're constantly changing it up, and it really is about a global taxation system, a carbon tax, and legitimizing international government and one world order style dictatorships under the guise of humanity and saving Mother Earth and their little Gaia worship. Johnny nonsense. I thank you for the call, Alan. We're going to go to Taylor in Texas and others on the other side, but I want to hit on this article out of the Wall Street Journal. Congress and the IMF's power grab. A sad spectacle played out in Washington this week as the House Democrats pushed through a $106 billion supplemental appropriations bill to fund our troops in Iraq and Afghanistan that also provides a whopping $108 billion in expanded credit to the International Monetary Fund. Don't be surprised when they tell you that these aren't dollars that they're taking, that they're special drawing rights units, the global system of currency now, SDR units. And the last bill that we told you about was $83 billion. And $83 billion, I think that had to be a month ago, at least, that we gave another $83 billion towards the war. And now we're pushing through another $106 billion. Oh yeah, Barack Obama's getting this out of the Middle East. I can't even say it with a straight face. It's so ludicrous. We'll be back after this. It's the Infowarrior with Paul Hartman and J-Ron.